amazingly awesome gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome gonna happen to me today. Well, I'll sing my little mantra, gonna get it in my head. Today is a party, gonna leap on out of bed. Start my day in this way, knowing everything is okay. I look for the good in everything, makes me wanna sing. Oh, 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 something amazingly awesome gonna happen to me today. 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 I'll sing about a future, it's right before my eyes. The beauty, joy, and wonder, it's time I realize that every moment is a gift. All it takes is the slightest shift to see the good in everything, make you want to sing. Oh, 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 something amazingly awesome gonna happen to me today. 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 How can I be open to it? Gratitude, gratitude. What if I'm not really feeling it? More gratitude, gratitude. Believe in the power of what I say will be. I finally learned the lesson that gratitude is the key. Amazing, amazing, it's all amazing. 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 Something amazingly awesome gonna happen to me today. 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 Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. It already has. It already has. Good morning and welcome. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast. Welcome to you at home. Welcome to you in the back of the room. Good morning. I am Teresa Fieberts. And I look about and I see Spirit. I see the one source and substance of all life. I see that power and I see that presence. I see that one invisible, infinite, incredible, creative energy multiplied and diversified. Multiplied and diversified. What a beautiful thing. What a beautiful thing to see how Spirit shows up. So delightfully awesome, unique, authentic. Amen. That's what we're talking about here all month, is authenticity. How that one incredible presence, out of an act upon itself, creates all form, all life, all beauty, all circumstances, all situations, in, as, and through each one of us. What a brilliant concept to study, to work on, to reflect upon, to live by, to live by. That is what we attempt to do here every Sunday, so that you can do it every 24/7, right? Because this is a teaching, a way of life. Yeah, it's a way of life. So I'm super excited for those of you that showed up here this morning and those of you that tuned in and will tune in later on. And if you're home and you're just enjoying being in your jammies, please know that it is delightfully sunny and pleasant and cool, actually. It's very, very temperate, really beautiful here today. Red tide is fine, I think. Were we pretty good with red tide this morning, everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
We seem pretty good. So if you want to get your clothes on and get here for the workshop, I recommend it. Yeah, I recommend it. So this is something that we're trying out, to have a workshop once a month. And today, I am delighted to tell you that I have good friends here with me. And so I am sharing my platform here this morning with my good friend, Gina Alicea. And Gina is a well-known, well-traveled artist, educator, curator, 30 years experience. And she's also just a wonderful person. She has a master's in fine art and a master's in education. But beyond all that, she's a licensed spiritual practitioner, and she's a ministerial student at the Emerson Theological Institute. And many of you were with us 2 years ago when Gina did her Painted Prayers workshop. And that was a wonderful time that we had together. And I hope it's okay that I say, but her new beau, Daniel Epstein, I love that word. I actually looked it up. It's delightful. Her new beau, Daniel Epstein, is doing beautiful work in the world. He's an author and a photographer. When you get a chance, you need to take a look at his book, which he's got several back there on the table inside. But he's the founder of Portraits in Faith Foundation. It's a nonprofit. And that nonprofit is intent on spreading the word about sacred listening, which is what our workshop is this afternoon. It's a documentary project. And for 20 years, he's been traveling the globe and has interviewed over 500 people and is documenting their stories, their spiritual journeys, much like I talked about Hannah's a couple weeks ago. It's beautiful work, and what he found, which you'll learn about more in the workshop, is that it wasn't about allowing a platform for people to tell their stories, although that's what seemed at first obvious. It was about what practitioners know. It was about sacred listening. It was about being that witness. Jim, you know that, right? What a gift, what an honor to reverently listen as someone shares their story. To be reverent in your hearing, deep in your listening. Yeah. So that's what we get an opportunity to do this afternoon. And Daniel has been so kind to gift this workshop to us. So we're offering it to you on a love offering. You pay what you can. And I know you'll get the great value out of it. And if you weren't prepared to stay, run right across the street to the concession stand or eat a bagel. And you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I'll share some of my nuts with you that I brought. So Gina curated an exhibition that's showing at the University of Chicago, where she works, where she teaches, at the Corvus Gallery. And they've got this exhibition going on right now, and they created a curriculum, and he's been teaching there, and so it's quite an honor for us to have the two of them this morning, so I'm happy those of you are here. His workshop is geared around See No Other, and you hear me talk a lot about Valerie Kaur's work, right? See No Stranger. I love that book, and I've quoted and spoken from it quite a bit. So this is what we're talking about. as I started, and we're going to go right back there right now. In consciousness, what we know is there's only one infinite, one love intelligence, one creative energy, coming from that infinite, invisible realm into form by means of an act upon itself to express life uniquely, authentically as each and every one and everything. So what a privilege it is to allow life to freely move in, as, and through me, Teresa. And I affirm for each one here today that something in the music, something in the message that Gina shares, something in the workshop, something in a conversation that you share over coffee, something ignites that unique voice, that which you came here to be and to share. Something reminds you of your gifts and your talents. And what I affirm for each one of us is the way is made clear. Every crooked place is made straight. Every door is opened so we freely show up in life who we are meant to be. This I claim right here and right now. I know it's already so in the mind of God, so I let it be. And we claim it and celebrate it and rejoice as we say together. And so it is. Amen.
It is.
Yeah. Amen. So it is.
It is.
What you got for us, Joyful Noise?
Well, this first tune has a little bit of a story, and I'll be really brief. I was in New York, and a friend of mine visited the CSL near Asheville, North Carolina. And when he came back, he said, "Oh my gosh, you have got to get in touch with this philosophy and all that." That's before I even knew it would existed. And he said, "And I brought a CD back for you." And I listened to it, and I heard this song, and I loved it. So I transposed it a little bit. And it just so happens that it's written by our brand new spiritual leader for CSL headquarters. So globally wide, this is written by Reverend Sonny Cantrell. So it's such a joy, and I also have the joy of this beautiful team working on it with me. Thank you. Okay.
To thine own self be true, love will abide. Release all the doubts you hold, know God inside.
Truth will lead you home again, back to the source of all peace. You're a shining star, your light shines far. Remember who you are.
I'm falling in love with God.
Spirit has set my heart free.
I'm living inside of greatness.
God's
Falling in love with me. Release our prayer to the universe. Love will provide. Dance with trust in your hearts tonight. Beauty in your eyes.
nature is a song of joy. Spirit is singing in you. You're a shining star, your light shines far. Remember who you are. I'm
falling in love with God. Spirit has set my heart free. I'm living inside of greatness. God's falling in love with me.
I'm living inside
Of greatness. God's falling in love.
God's falling in love.
God's falling in love with me.
Good morning, everyone. I found a great piece of something on authenticity and how integrity is an intricate part of it. It was written by Christina Reeves, and I hope you like it, and I hope, as Reverend Teresa said, ignites positive thoughts. So here it is. Integrity and authenticity are joined together. It takes strength of character and integrity to make decisions based on personal conviction rather than popular opinion. With this in mind, living in integrity means you value honesty, commitment, and trustworthiness. And through your authentic actions, you inspire trust and loyalty in others. Actually, integrity is about authenticity, being true to who and what you are, and embodying that in every aspect of your life. The first step to living with integrity and authenticity is knowing thyself. This component is what allows you to monitor and modify your behavior so that you are more effective in your life. Becoming self-aware means knowing who and what you truly are, as opposed to how other people and society define you. In other words, being very clear about what's important to you, your values, your passions, and your deepest interests and loves. These are both your inner flame and your compass with which you can navigate life. This also means having the courage to embrace this knowledge and to live your life accordingly. Living authentically means you express what you truly value in life. When you know what you're all about, everything you do must align with that. It takes complete honesty to live with integrity. For example, when we diminish ourselves, restricting our innate potentiality, aliveness, and creativity, then we're not living in harmony with our essential nature. As a result, we suffer. I just ended my relationship, so I'm done suffering. Now I'm who I want to be and who I am. Our desire to fit in, to conform, to seek out authorities is difficult to resist. All these feelings are a normal and unavoidable part of creating your authentic self. However, the truth of the matter is that the only person who can be the author of you is you. It's a daunting task and one that is personal. Authenticity is not about revealing something. It's about building something. And that something is you. You were effectively born as a blank page. And one of your greatest gifts is the capacity to take that page and choose what to write on it. Only you have the ability to choose what kind of person you want to be. Your values, your aspirations, and the principles that you want to live your life by. Your page is blank, which means you can choose to do anything and head in any direction you want to build your authentic self. Often our culture and our society does not encourage the free and natural expression of our authentic self. However, I believe we must. This internal and external conflict has caused us so many years of self-doubt, self-recrimination, fear, anxiety, and depression. It is time to end this needless suffering once and for all. Living a life of authenticity rewards us with one thing we prize above all else: peace of mind. How wonderful, peace of mind. We need only look back on our history to see a blazing trail of truly authentic people with the courage of daring to be who and what they were born to be. Authenticity and integrity are essential ingredients for living life of happiness and emotional freedom. Perhaps the simple act of being who you are and living your life as daring and as radiant as you can, and this integrity and self-honesty in action is what shows up in authenticity. Live with integrity by daring to be authentic. Dare to be true. Dare to be you. And so it is.
Right on. These two songs I put together as a medley. They were both written in 1970. Interestingly enough, one for a musical with Barbra Streisand and the other one on Broadway for Godspell. So, I'm sure you know a lot of the words here, and please feel authentically inclined to join in. Okay. Okay. 1, 2. Day by day, day by day, oh dear Lord, 3 things I pray: to see thee more clearly, love thee more dearly, follow thee more nearly, day by day, day by day, day by day, oh dear Lord, 3 things I pray: to see thee more clearly, love thee more dearly, follow thee more nearly, day by day, day by day. On a clear day, rise and look around you, and you'll see who you are. On a clear day, how it will astound you that the glow of your being outshines every star you'll feel part of, every mountain, sea, and shore. You can hear from far and near a world you've never heard before. And on that clear day, on that clear day, you can see forever and evermore. that clear day, on that clear day, you can see forever and ever and Thank you. All right. Thank you.
It's here somewhere. I got notes. All right. Good morning, CSLCC. Oh, it's so exciting. Who knew 2 years ago when I did that workshop that I'd be back up here, right here. Ooh. So thank you, Reverend Teresa. Thank you for inviting me to speak. It's been a while since I've given a talk. So what I need to do just to calm myself down, I'm just going to open with prayer, because as a practitioner, that's what I do, and I just need to do that to just get myself calm. So just take a moment to breathe with me and breathe in. And to recognize that there is only one thing happening right here and right now. That is the omnipresence. That is the divine mind. That is the power and presence of God that is living and breathing in me, living and breathing in you. It is the divine nature of life itself. It is moving through me, in me, and as me. And I just claim right here and right now, anything that needs to be said is said. Anything that needs to be heard is heard. And that we are all in this together. And it is a beautiful moment in time. And so it is. Woo. So when Reverend Teresa asked me to give a sermon or a talk today, I immediately picked up the Science of Mind magazine, and I looked at the monthly theme, and it said, boldly authentic. And I was like, oh, yes, okay. That's perfect, because those of you that know me know that I'm an artist, I'm a teacher, I'm a curator, I'm a spiritual practitioner, I'm just like all these different things that I do. It's not one single lane. I cannot fit in a box, so I'm just like totally outside of it, even though I was born and raised Mennonite. But I jumped out of that box when I found New Thought Unity in the 90s, and then CSL about 20 years ago. And I've traveled a lot because I'm so curious about world religions and art, right? And so the 24 countries that I've been to, I always go see their art, and I see their spiritual temples and synagogues and caves with shaman, and I just go wherever Spirit leads me. And it has just been an incredible journey to live my life authentically, to live my life from a place what I call bold authenticity, our theme for this month. And I dare say that each one of you are authentic, authentically divine. So there, in the Science of Mind magazine this month, there is a reading written by Diana Ensing, and I'm going to start the talk with this reading because it just spoke to me, and it spoke to what I wanted to say today. So this is a direct quote from the magazine on page 12, for those of you that want to look it up. As we set out to honor our ever-expanding authentic selves, we give others permission to be their authentic selves. We appreciate more fully that we are all in a process of emerging anew each day as we encounter fresh ideas and venture out to larger horizons, and when we gladly applaud the divinity in all. Seeing the living spirit in each person, our relationships can then advance in healthier ways as we move away from judgments and conflicts and move towards celebration of our uniquely divine humanness. As Ernest Holmes declared, I no longer meet people partially, but open my thoughts and feelings to the truth that there is but one living spirit in and through all people, in infinite variations, never alike in any two people. The good news, that's just such good news, right? It means that we are now discovering how to be more loving, more compassionate, more harmonious with our fellow humans, embracing the divine presence and living spirit in everyone that we meet. In doing so, we not only acknowledge the light of spirit within ourselves and within each other, but more importantly, we rejoice in the glorious variations of people across the globe. That is like Science of Mind 101 right there. It's like, I couldn't resist telling you that today. I just had to read it to you. Okay, so this afternoon, our workshop leader, Danielle Epstein, will guide us in the spiritual practice of sacred listening. And we get to witness the divinity in each one of us. And what a glorious opportunity for the two congregations that just came together as one. We get to sit and listen to each other. So my talk title is Authentically Divine. And it's a call of true acceptance of ourselves and of others. I challenge us to think about this today. Are we accepting of ourselves and others? If not, what's keeping us from doing that? Is it our judgments of self? Is it our judgments of others? Is it fear? What is it? And so this morning, as we know, this is always a teaching lesson. So today we're going to take a look at that. I'm going to start with A Course in Miracles. That's a book that just changed my life 30 years ago when I first read it. And Marianne Williamson wrote in her book, Return to Love, A Course in Miracles calls itself a mind training of letting go. Letting go of a thought system based in fear, and instead the acceptance of a thought system based in love. In order to love purely, we must surrender our old ways of thinking. And for most of us, surrendering anything is difficult. For me, it's chocolate and coffee, and a few other things. Sugar. Yeah. The mind that's separate from God when your mind is just separate from God, it forgets, right? It's how we've forgotten to check in with love before we go out into the world, right? And without love, we have no wisdom. To surrender to God means to let go and just love. And by affirming love is our priority in this situation, we actualize the power of God. We literally use our minds to co-create with God. Through a mental decision, a conscious recognition of love's importance and our willingness to experience, we call on a higher power. We set aside our normal mental habit patterns and allow them to be superseded by a different, gentler mode of perception. That is what it means to let the power greater than who we are direct our lives. Once we get to the point where we realize that God is love, we understand that following God simply means following the dictates of love. Love is energy. We know it when it's present. We feel it. We know when it's not present because we feel really uncomfortable. We radiate and are full of joy when love is present. When judgment or anger or worry take hold of our minds, we block out that love of God. The concept is simple, but it's difficult unless we surrender. Without surrender, there's no peace, and love will not be felt. Love taken seriously is a radical outlook. It's threatening because it's not a small idea. It's like a huge idea, right? God is the energy of unconditional love. That is such a huge, it's just giant. It's just like all-encompassing idea, right? So in the Course in Miracles, it states 3 things. 1, love is real. It's an eternal creation and nothing can destroy it. 2, anything that isn't love is an illusion because fear is not permanent. And 3, remember this and you'll be at peace. Only love is real. So when we think with love, we are literally co-creating with God. Fear is not the ultimate reality, and it does not replace the truth of who we really are. Love casts out fear the way light casts out darkness. The shift from fear to love is a miracle. It's totally a miracle. It's the shift from your head to your heart. It's that way you change your thinking, you change your life. Hello, Ernest Holmes, right? Right? So, how the universal law works? Love in our mind produces love in our lives. Like, that's the meaning of heaven. And look at where we're at right now. I'm like, I am so in heaven right here. Like, fear in our mind produces fear in our lives. And that's like the meaning of hell. If you've ever been through that, I've been through it. So here we are in the gorgeous Sarasota Garden Club, surrounded by this luscious scenery, this luscious soil. And so let's connect right here to this idea of the fertile soil of the mind. Whatever that. What seeds are we germinating in our minds? Right? So, let's talk about this allegory called the Garden of Eden, right? It represents a state of consciousness. It represents that state of bliss, of nirvana, of consciousness where there's perfect harmony and attunement, right? And so from this tree of life, this allegory, right? We've got this tree of life that is connecting us from heaven to earth. It's the invisible made visible. And to eat from that tree of life, we partake from the fruit of the Spirit. And the fruit of the Spirit is what? It's love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. What are we feeding our mind? What seeds are we germinating and putting into that soil, right? We partake of the fruit and live in accordance with the attributes of God. We live from first cause. We live from the grace. The first cause is that there's only one life. That first cause of life, that cause that had created life, that's God. And we dwell in that garden of that nirvana, that heaven, that place of living grace, right? When our minds are focused on love, when our minds are focused on that spirit of love. And when we're there, we don't suffer. So we remember that love in our mind produces love in our lives. Fully loving our authentic self produces love in the world. So when I read earlier, as we set out to honor our ever-expanding authentic selves, we give permission to others to be their authentic selves. And on the flip side of that coin, when we introduce human judgment, the law of cause and effect produces fear. Because it's living in the realm of human senses and human thought and reacting to fear. Fear in our mind produces fear in our lives. I know this to be true because I lived it for 50 years, from 9 to 59, no lie. Lived it. After one abuse or another that I have suffered in my life, my mind was constantly in fear. And the pandemic just brought the fears back to my conscious awareness. But there's no mistake in God's divine timing. The pandemic showed me what was left to be healed. If we partake in human judgment, we mentally experience that separation from God. And to do so is to give up our joy. And maybe I'm the only one that judges others. If so, this sermon is for me. I propose that human beings have the propensity to judge because our minds are this meaning-making machine. But this attitude alienates us from each other and from our own true self. It's hard for us to accept our own judgments that are really the factor which keeps us from joy. It keeps us out of that place of peace and love. Yet we have seen that our thoughts, which produce fear, create unhappiness, right? The temptation is always there, but the truth is when we judge another, we're just judging ourselves. Life is a mirror. It reflects back to us. And we are also tempted to put our trust in outer effects, things outside of us. But as a practitioner, I know that God is my source. And boy, did we have to practice that in the last 3 years, right? Just go within and know, and know, and know, and affirm, right? So our joy is in the love of God. It does not depend on outer conditions. God is the spirit of truth within each one of us. And that will reveal the truth within us of what we need to grow through, right? You are authentically divine. You have the divine living and breathing in you. Love is energy. Oh, I already read that page. False beliefs only have the power we give them. False thinking, that which is not true, deceives. And those who live according to it, judged by human intellect. But when we are in our own Christ consciousness, that Buddha self, that divine mind, we are the enlightened ones who can cast out all that false thinking, and then the truth comes in. It's like this lightning. It's an aha moment. There is absolutely no power in falsehood. There is only power in God, in love. In love. This is what happens in spiritual practice. When we surrender, then Spirit intervenes and shifts our thinking. And when we turn away from false appearances, like some things that showed up in the last 3 years, and that suffering, we go back to first cause. We go back to God. We go back to that garden of bliss, that garden of nirvana, that place of peace. Trusting and relying on our mental power and the materials instead of the Spirit will only bring forth sadness. When we live in the Garden of Eden, we are living intuitively. From the inside out, trusting our power and trusting the intelligence and wisdom of God within. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. That life is your life. That life is our life now. There is only one truth, one tree of life from which to eat. If we abide in that garden of love, that state of everything's perfect, we would be in heaven. We'd be in that state of bliss. To live in peace and harmony, love and understanding is normal. It's natural. The essence of life is divine love and wisdom. The light of divine illumination, which shines brightly, will not be overcome by the darkness of ignorance. Energy is the substance from which everything is made. The Spirit, individualized in each one of us, has made you divinely authentic. Through the Spirit within us, we have the essence of love itself, the essence of love and wisdom. For God lives and moves and has its being in you. So I'll end with this reading from Eugene Holden. He's a spiritual practitioner and worked for World Ministry of Prayer through CSL. And he says 4 things. Be authentic, develop consciousness, know one like you, and be bold. So be authentic. Being authentic is showing up as your genuine, original self. We come from the source of life. We are how life reveals itself in the world. Develop consciousness. Our mission is to remember who we are. We are here to develop our skills as creators. Yes. From this God consciousness, we can create a world that certainly can work for all. Choose to be love in all you do. There's no one like you. Your fingerprint proves there is no one else on the planet like you. You are unique. Unique, individualized expression of the divine. Be your authentic self. Allow the intelligence that created you to create through you, because you are magnificent. Be bold. Being bold is living fearlessly and expressing your authentic God self. As the perfect life of God, you have everything you need to create a life of abundance, grace, and beauty. Today, be bold and live your life from unlimited joy. Be authentically, divinely you. I want to close with an affirmation, so please repeat after me. I am the magnificent and unique expression of God. I now express as only I can from my divine authentic self. I am here to give and be love. I rest in the awareness that all is well. And so it is.
Well, there couldn't be a more perfect set of words to follow, Gina. Thank you. Thank you for your spirit, for the energy, for the truth of everything that you have said today, that we can go forth from this place with a greater sense of ourselves. And the words here are, I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, and in the glory. These words are the perfect seed of authenticity that we can plant and know for ourselves. This is a song written by Kathy Zavada. She's well known for her chant-like style. A lot of her tunes are like mantras repeated over and over. These are 3 melodies that actually are sung alone, and then they come together. So there's layers of melodies on top of one another. And you can pick which one you like to sing along. Okay? 1, 2, 3, and... I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light and the love and the glory, in the light and the love and the glory, in the light and the love and the glory, I am. In the light and the love and the glory, in the light and the love and the glory, in the light and the love and the glory, I am.
In the light, in the love, in the glory of God, I am. In the light, in the love, in the glory of God, I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory.
In the light and the love and the glory, in the light and the love and the glory, in the light and the love and the glory, I am. In the light and the love and the glory, in the light and the love and the glory, in the light and the love and the glory, I am. In the light and the love and the glory, in the light and the love and the glory, in the light and the love and the glory, I am. In the light and the love and the glory, in the light and the love and the glory, in the light and the love and the glory, I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created in the love, in the glory. Again. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. Yeah. All right.
Blown away by you, joyful noise. I tell you what, just beautiful. Ethy, thank you so much for bringing your talents.
You're
I mean,
so
each one of
welcome.
you up here have great talents, but I will tell you, because they practice in my house on Fridays, that Ethy, you come up with these ideas, that those three parts there so beautifully illustrate what Gina talked about, what our intention for the day is, wasn't it? And we got to participate by singing. I mean, brilliant.
Yeah, you're
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant to orchestrate it that way. I loved it.
And you allow us to be authentically flexible and perfect.
Yes.
right?
Yeah. It is my intention to do that. You know, I want us to be a playground, right? I want this center to be a playground where maybe you don't get to show up in your family or at your work, where you can really feel like you can express yourself in the way that you want to, you know? And here you can. Here you can. Here you can, and we invite you to, and we want you to, and we celebrate as you do so, right? So thank you. Gina, thank you. And you know, I originally thought that I was going to be out of town this week, and then I recognized that as the two communities came together, that I couldn't say, okay, now I'm going to go on a vacation. Bye, see ya. So I postponed that little trip, and but I needed exactly what you had to say today, and I needed to be the recipient of those words, my dear. And so very quickly, Kim back there, Kim, Diana and Frankie, Gina and Daniel. Let me apologize for my grumpiness this morning, because I was doing exactly what you were talking about. I was in that place of judgment. Right, Kim? Go ahead and nod your head. Yes, it was. I was in that place of judging and finding my power out there, and it was being diminished, wasn't it? That's where I was standing. So I apologize for that. Thank you for reminding me of powers inside of me. And when I remember that, I'm never diminished. Yeah, amen. So let us know that, as Gina was speaking about, that divine is love in action. It is always love in action. And everything that we touch and everything in our lives is love in action, right? Yeah. So what is your money? It is love in action. It is simply another form of the divine, because what? Everything comes from that infinite, invisible into form. This thing, first somebody had an idea about to create it. This thing, somebody had to have an idea about it to create. God had an idea about this to create it, right? That beautiful bird. Oh, those are parakeets. Those are the parakeets. Parrots. Yeah. So, everything. Your money, same thing. In our culture, we had this idea that this would be our transference of good. It would be our transference of meaning. It would be our love transferred, right? So as we begin our time of offering, let us do it so in that consciousness, that it is simply that exchange of energy. It is that exchange of love. And so as you give, just give from that place. Just simply give from that place.
Let's sing together. I receive the gift of life and pass it on. I receive the gift of love and pass it on. I receive the gift of joy and pass it on. I receive all good, pass it on. I receive the gift of life and pass it on. I receive the gift of love, pass it on. I receive the gift of joy, pass it on. I receive all good, pass it on.
Here's what I know, that this good that we recognize and pass on goes forth to do good in the world. It is multiplied abundantly. So it is. And as I begin the announcements, let me include Hector, who just walked out of the room, and Angelica, for also putting my dark shoulds on you this morning. So, no, you know what? I mean, here's just a really quick lesson. I'm sure I only got 2 minutes. Here's a really quick lesson. Forgive so you can forget and move on quickly. It's a habit of mine, and I love it. It's so easy. Say you're sorry. Say, yes, I forgive you, or whatever the circumstance. Because when you hold it, then it festers, right? But if you immediately, when you recognize, say, oh, my God, I'm sorry, I showed up in my shoulds, I should on myself. Thou shouldn't should on thyself. So, as I began with, this workshop that we've got this afternoon is a gift from Daniel. Why don't you stand up, since we're talking about you and so people can see who you are. Yes. And so this work he's done, and oh my God, my book fell on the ground. This work not only that he's done, that he continues to do. This is magnificent. Take a look after the service. Over 20 years of interviewing over 500 people, hearing their stories. But you know what, folks? It's not about the stories. It's about how we show up with one another and how deeply we listen and receive and accept each other. That's what it's about. So our workshop follows the service here. Grab something to eat and take a seat. And it's a love offering, so no excuse. Next month, our workshop is by Satya Winkleman, sitting right here, and it's going to be a play shop, an improv play shop. And so we're very excited, and this woman is a talent in her own right, and so we're super excited. That one also is a gift to us. So take advantage of these. Take advantage of these. Get our newsletter to get all this information. There's flyers out on the table over there. If you want prayer support, there's practitioners in the room, Ethy, myself, Jim, Kathleen. Just grab one of us or fill out a prayer request or send it on email to prayer@cslculturalcoast.org, and we are happy to hold you in prayerful consciousness for the week. What we got, I heard that there's something special we're closing out with. Ready? I am ready. All right. Let me hear.
Wow. All right.
Thanks for being here with us.
And everybody sing along with us. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Well, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere
This little light of mine. Everybody singing. I'm gonna let it shine. Starting to sound good. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. This little light of mine, it's authentic shine. That is a little light of mine. It's authentic shine. And this crazy light of mine, it's authentic shine. See me shine, shine.
Sing it, baby.
Shine, shine.
Yeah.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. From deep within our hearts, we're gonna let it shine. From deep within our hearts, we're gonna let it shine. From deep within our hearts, we're gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All right, one more time.
Hey.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Go shine.
Yeah.
Let it shine, everybody.
Yeah.